Recording started.
What's up, everybody? My name is Brandon Clinton with Sports Talker Brandon on this Saturday. Today we're going to be talking about the SmackDown from last night. This SmackDown was pretty good. It wasn't too bad. I will say overall, SmackDown's been a decent show after WrestleMania for some points. This one was okay. I think some things they didn't really hit right or work out right into it. I will say, ultimately, this SmackDown tried to build some things up for later on this year, later on this couple weeks. The big thing they talked about was the draft in 2 weeks, starting Corpus Christi on SmackDown. So this draft is going to be happening in 2 weeks. We're also getting a couple big title matches. The Usos are going to re-challenge the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the tag titles. Also, next week we're getting the Intercontinental Championship of Gunther versus Xavier Woods, and we're also getting the women's tag team champions of Liv Morgan and Raquel Gonzalez versus uh, uh, Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green. So that stuff was really good. And we also got a main event match of Matt Riddle and versus Solo Sikoa. So that was really fun. Let's go down through SmackDown. Let's kick this off. So we kicked this off actually with the aforementioned Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They come out, cut a promo. They basically say, we know, we're still riding out at high, but we know that the Usos are going to come for our titles. Then the Usos interrupt. The Usos pretty much are like adversity, or not adversity. They're like pressure. You haven't known pressure. You've only been tag champs for 2 weeks. We've been tag champs for 680 something days. They talk about the fact that we're strong. The bloodline is stronger than they will. Sami says you have to, before that, Sami says, you have to run back to Daddy Roman Reigns, and you'll have to confirm everything with him. Then brawl breaks out, and Riddle comes out down to help them in the brawl. That sets up the match between Solo and Riddle. Backstage, you see Adam Pearce talking to one of the main refs on SmackDown. He says that match is official and make sure nobody gets involved, all that kind of stuff. So he trusts that to the ref. And then after that, we get our first match of the night, which is from a promo. So Xavier Woods got the promo on LA Knight, and LA Knight rebuttals in a video promo himself. And then that's our first match, LA Knight versus Xavier Woods. This match was fun. This match had a lot of back and forth. It was really it made everybody look good. I was really looking forward to do what they do with Xavier Woods. But Woods did really well. He was really really doing his moves. LA Knight's over as all get out. LA Knight, I think, is one of the better wrestlers on one of the better promos, but also just got it over because people love saying yeah, and his promo style is so different. We kicked this off, and once we kick it off, it was a good back and forth. LA Knight is on top Xavier was on top for most of it. We go to commercial, come back. LA Knight gets on top. LA Knight tries to use the tights at the end to get the win. Ref doesn't allow it. But then as he's arguing with the ref, Xavier Woods pulls the tights to win with the backwoods. I think it's what they call the roll up. And Xavier Woods wins. Basically just giving Xavier another win. LA Knight has lost a lot. And according to reports, he is a favorite to win Money in the Bank, which I think that's a good thing because everybody thinks he's over. But at the same time, you have to be able to go, okay, if he's going to win the Money in the Bank, who's that challenger you're going to have for that? So I think the thing is him winning the bank, if he wins Money in the Bank, still reported he's the favorite backstage or in WWE internally. You just have to give him some wins. I know the old adage is like they can lose if they have Money in the Bank, but I think you need to give him credible wins to be a credible winner for Money in the Bank. And then after Money in the Bank, keep giving him credible wins. So if he does, he's not going to beat Roman, but he might face Cody out when Cody gets the belt or whatever. So that's going to be something I think down the road. Also, I'm really looking forward to just seeing what they do with a lot of the other stuff with LA Knight and Xavier Woods. So that was so fun. Backstage, we see Imperium. They are, Gunther's telling Luke Kaiser and Bartel just talking to him in his native language. I think it's either German or Austrian. He's Austrian, but I think he's talking in German to them. Xavier Woods comes up and just plays trombone annoyingly. Kaiser gets annoyed, and there was about to walk off, and then so next week we're gonna have a intercom. I want to challenge you for intercontinental title, which does get made official. That is happening next week. That should be fun. I think Gunther's gonna win it, but I think if he gives Xavier a really just interesting title feud, I think that feud will make more sense. So interesting title feud overall. I cannot I cannot be surprised if that's going to be a really good match. So then after that, we get um, Shinsuke Nakamura. They teased Nakamura is going to be back on SmackDown. That was teased last week. But then after we get this thing between them, Gunther and Imperium. We get a Liv Morgan and but no, we get um, we get the Judgment Day coming out. Judgment Day comes out with Rhea Ripley, who's the SmackDown Women's Champion, Damian Priest, and Finn and Dom. Finn is not on the show because he wrestled on SmackDown on Raw, but also he's had that cut on his head from WrestleMania, so they're trying to give some rest, I would assume. Before they come out, they cut a promo, and they're talking about the LWO and why did they get involved and all this stuff. Then Priest came to the ring and talked about Bad Bunny, basically saying, I didn't want to do what I did to Bad Bunny. I respect the man, but you shouldn't get in our business. And they keep showing the clip of him putting Bad Bunny through that table, and it looks amazing, by the way. And I have to give you credit. Bunny's one of the few celebrities and people that's been in WWE. The man can go. He's a pretty decent wrestler. He enjoys it. He has fun with it. They're gonna do the thing in Puerto Rico, which I mean, I'm not gonna poo-poo them doing a thing in Puerto Rico. Like him in Puerto Rico is gonna be a massive just pop for him because he's from the area. He's from Puerto Rico. Damien's from Puerto Rico. That match is gonna be fun. I think you give when they do Backlash. I think you give Ray and Bunny that win in a way that makes sense. But yeah, they talk about this, and then the LWO music hits, but then Zelina Vega comes through the entranceway. Then Santo Escobar, Del Cruz, and Joaquin Wild all attack from behind, and then we go to commercial, come back. So we have Santo Escobar versus Damian Priest. Go and watch this match. I could not explain this match very well. Or I couldn't explain it well enough. This match was actually really good, and they were doing counters, countering everything, going back and forth. Two men who know how to wrestle and wrestle very well. Damian wins with the South of Heaven, and he gets the win. Then they're beating up the rest of LWO. Ray comes out to make the save. It's even numbers, and he chases off the rest of Judgment Day and pretty much does the 619 to his son again. This is a good thing. I think the LWO is going to be fun. If they do it right, it's an old faction from WCW when Eddie was the head of it. So I think if they do the LWO right, I think you're going to have a really fun feud for a bit and makes this more interesting. Then we get to the next segment, which this segment was actually okay. It wasn't great in my opinion. After that whole match between them, we get a segment with talking about Shinsuke Nakamura, and he's going to be wrestling tonight. But we get Liv Morgan and Raquel Gonzalez coming out to cut a promo. They just talk about being tag champs, and Raquel thanks Liv for, letting her throw her around a lot in their matches. They have good chemistry. Liv Morgan, my word, she's became so much more of a stronger wrestler, but her character and just having fun and just having those cool moves with Raquel, it's been awesome. I mean, Raquel can pick her up easily and just power bombs around the people at points, and it looks amazing. So I'm totally down for them doing this. I think it's going to be far and away the best thing they've done on SmackDown for a while. Ultimately, this match is fun. I can't say nothing wrong with it. Or this segment's fun. Then as they keep talking. Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville come out. Deville pretty much says, y'all won the tag titles, but y'all won them off, not the actual tag champs. She mentions that Lita got hurt and Becky tagged with Trish, but Trish wasn't the legal tag winner. And how did Pierce allow that? And then Pierce shouldn't have allowed that, but I'm like, okay, Pierce shouldn't have allowed it. You probably should have done it. You're going to do it anyway. So ultimately, this leads to Liv saying, if you want the match so bad, we'll give you the match. And they did. So the match happens. We are getting Liv Morgan and Raquel Gonzalez versus Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green. I will say, Chelsea Green as this character is so good. She plays this character so well. It's kind of like a Karen character, but I think in a way she can play it well enough. Sonya Deville as a character is amazing too. The women in this feud is amazing. I just wish, because this is and I'm gonna be very nice about this. I don't think it's bad. I think it's kind of bad. This was the only women's segment on the show, or women's segment entirely. No match, only women's thing on the show, which is kind of bad when you have 2 hours of TV. When you have 2 hours of TV and you only have one, that's not good. So this was the only women's thing on the show, which I didn't think really helped them at all. You had so much time, you could have put on a women's thing on the show, but you didn't. Rhea did come out for the promo. Rhea came out with the promo, and he came out with Judgment Day, but there was no match. So, like, yes, you had another women's thing on the show, but no matches, no women's matches, which is really not good. Then we get the little promo thing, which they did a couple times, announcing the draft. So the draft will be happening later on, in 2 weeks in Corpus Christi, and then we get a backstage segment with Ricochet and Braun Strowman. They're just walking backstage, and then they get attacked by the Viking Raiders. Viking Raiders beat up Braun, not pretty much take him out. Then Valhalla tells them both to powerbomb to do Ragnarok on Ricochet through the table. He gets that. They both laid out and they walk off. Then we get a backstage segment of Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn talking to Riddle, basically telling Riddle, I know what they've done to you. I was part of that when they did it to you. I'm sorry. And Riddle, and you shouldn't use your anger to do this. And then Kevin Owens like, they put you on the shelf for 3 months. You should do everything in your power to do what you need to do. And it was, it was chef's kiss. It was so good backstage. And Riddle pretty much says, I'm gonna do what I need to do. I'm gonna destroy Solo Secure for what he did to me, and that's gonna happen tonight. And they keep doing the backstage. Then we get Shane or Shinsuke Nakamura coming out in this cool looking gear and his music, and everybody's singing to it. It looks amazing. Nakamura's been on TV for I think 6 months, 4 months. After he did the match with Buddha before WrestleMania. I think a month before WrestleMania, and he hasn't done anything since. We get him back on TV, so now they're putting him back on TV. I appreciate all of that. So we're doing this, and as we're getting ready for the match, we got the commercials come back. Madcap Moss is backstage telling you should be out there, you should be getting cheered. And Emma's like hyping him up, and they're actually dating in real life, which actually makes sense. So there's the team. Another thing, Emma's on the show too, and Emma's in his corner, which doesn't really make much sense when she hasn't done much else. So then Emma hypes him up, all this stuff, and so then we get that. We're getting ready for the match, but before they come out for the match, before we come back from the commercial, we have two things. We have a Karrion Kross promo, which was Scarlett just doing tarot cards and saying TikTok, basically for Nakamura before the Nakamura match and after Riddle promo, and then we have the match and Nakamura wins this pretty handily with Kinshasa. Riddle's Madcap Moss is a house of fire at the beginning, but then Shinsuke just stops that entirely, doesn't do much else, and hits a Kinshasa for the 1, 2, 3. Then after the match, we get a backstage segment with the Usos and Solo Sikoa and Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman talks about the trial. He called Tribal Chief, and he goes through all this stuff, basically talking about Rikishi and all the other members of the Samoan family. And Solo stops and goes, I'll get it done tonight. I'm destroy Riddle. Basically, the man's a legit like good wrestler. Just the way he's playing his character is amazing. He talks very little, but he only needs to talk when he needs to. I think building it up, making it look cool, great, awesome. So then we get to that, and I'm like, okay, I wonder what they're gonna do with this. So then we have that. So we have the Nakamura thing. We had the backstage thing early night with the Usos and stuff. So we have Sami Zayn, Riddle, and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn come out. They're that match happens. We're gonna imagine we see Solo Sikoa and the Usos come out, and Paul Heyman cuts a promo telling them about he went to Pierce, and we're getting that match in 2 weeks for the tag team titles, the joint tag team titles in Corpus Christi during that draft on SmackDown. So they're gonna win the titles back, all that kind of stuff, and then we get the match starts. The Usos immediately, or the Usos don't get involved right away, but the Usos do something to where the ref sees it. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are going to be walked up to him, and they're kind of like doing a standoff. Ref gets them to the ref, pretty much throws Sami and Kevin out. He was like, yeah, they got thrown out. Great. And then he throws both of them out. The only thing is you threw them both out, so that means basically we're going to have a straight-up match. Well, no. We didn't have a straight-up match because later on in the match is going well. They're doing their thing. Solo's on top from Riddle starts with House of Fire. Solo gets on top. Riddle fights back. As Riddle's fighting back, though, we see the Usos come through the crowd and come through the timekeeper's area and try to get involved. Well, as that's happening, you see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn come from the ramp, and they're coming down to even the odds. So I'm like, okay, but you just ejected both of them. If they can hit blows again, aren't you gonna have to DQ? Aren't you basically gonna have to do something? I'm like, no. So then they just have a little brawl, and then they're brawling, and I'm like, okay, cool. They're brawling, doesn't really help anything. So as they're brawling, Riddle's just like, okay, I'm gonna do a dive with the top rope. He does a dive with the top rope, knocks out both of the Usos, and as that's happening, he gets back in the ring, hits Solo hits the I think a punch. A punch, and then he hits the Samoan spike for the 1, 2, 3. Beats Riddle with a little help from the Usos with the distraction, which they've done a lot of distraction finishes, too many distraction finishes for that matter. Then I think the big thing is, which I don't like, is the fact that you already ejected ringside, so it doesn't really help you when you're distracted. You ejected both teams. So then Riddle gets the smallest spike. He gets beaten down. They're still brawling. Solo's like, you know what? I'm not through with you, Riddle. He picks him up to the Uranagi, and like Uranagi's on the announce table. I thought the table was gonna break. It doesn't break. Riddle rolls off, and then Solo's like, I'm still not done. You know what I'm gonna do? Rip the top of the announce table off and pretty much tip the announce table on top of Riddle. Riddle gets the announce table off. Solo's like just screaming and just kind of like just enraged, and then he gets back in the ring. Sami's trying to grab him, doesn't really grab him at all. They get back in the ring. They go check on Riddle. They pull the tail back, and Riddle's just in pain. Usos leave. They walk up the ramp, and at the end, you just see Solo just like screaming, talking in Samoan. It looked amazing. But the only thing is, I don't think you needed a DQ finish. Let Solo Sikoa win that match by himself. He can, and Riddle doesn't need a strong win anyway. But you keep Solo strong. Fine. So then the end of the show is just showing Solo's face, talking to Samoan, and that ends the show. Overall, I would have to give this show 3, only because I think there's 2 problems. One, I think the interference with everything wasn't that great. I think the interference was kind of bad. I think the interference was really not worth that. 2, my other big thing is the fact that you had no women's matches on the show. None. Absolutely nothing except 2 women's promo segments. One Rhea Ripley in the Judgment Day, the other Liv Morgan and Raquel Gonzalez. That's it. Nothing else on the show, which is also kind of a detriment to you. So that's why I give it 3. But overall, it was an okay SmackDown. They're building the Bloodline stuff more, but like there's no progression in the Bloodline stuff now. It's just like the Bloodline still fighting with the Kevin and them. The tag titles are in this like weird little vortex. And hopefully with the draft they fight one more time. Kevin Owens and them can get drafted to Raw. They either do one of the belts back to SmackDown, or combine the belts as one set of tag belts, and then they can float. But if they do that, they have to do that. I think that's the only way that works. Saying all that, like I said, good show. I don't think it was bad. I just think it needed more there, and it wasn't. There wasn't a lot. There was not a lot of meat on that bone. I SmackDown, the SmackDowns have been okay. The Raws have been long shows with not much progression. But I think this SmackDown was okay. I don't know if it was great. But I do thank you for listening. Hope you did enjoy. I am going to be doing these more with my face cam and all that kind of stuff. So I hope you do enjoy that. I'm going to put these on YouTube as well. So if you want to just watch them as a YouTube video, go right ahead. I do sorry for the glitching. It's kind of glitching it out. My internet's good, but it's been glitching it out sometimes. TalkShoe's good. I just have to get that work out well. But I do hope you enjoyed. I will be on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/bmax78 later today, probably about 1 o'clock Eastern Central Time, to play a lot of fighting games. So I'm going to be going through Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat 11. I'm also going to be playing a good amount of Guilty Gear Strive, so I'm going to play some of that. So we're going to do a fighting game day, and then on either Sunday or Monday, depending on how these go, I'm going to get into Ghostwire Tokyo. I'm looking forward to Ghostwire Tokyo, but it's not like something I want to fully play. But like I said, I do thank you for listening. Hope you did enjoy. I'll be back on Tuesday to do my Raw review and my NXT review. I'll probably combine the two. I can do it after NXT. And then on Friday, like normal, on Saturday, like normal, to do my my SmackDown review. And then the next Saturday, I will not do a SmackDown review because I am working, so you will not get a SmackDown review for the next week. But I'll try to, if I do watch SmackDown, I might do it either that Friday night and just have it up then or later on. But like I said, I do thank you for listening. Hope you enjoy. Hope you for next time. See you.